Hi everyone, my name is Anant Gupta and I am the CEO and founder of Memo Pundits, which is an organization catering law students. We try to help out through a lot of online courses, workshops, webinars like these. We try to help out law students in making their lives easier at law school. Today we have with us Mr. Shivam Sharma. Um, there's actually a quote, very interesting quote, which I would like to say out loud before I start introducing Mr. Shivam Sharma, which is even a mosquito doesn't get a tap at its back until it gets to work. So that is a quote which can, I think which can define Mr. Shivam Sharma and who he is. By way of introduction, Shivam is a lawyer. He's currently working with TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. He's a 2020 law graduate from UPES Dehradun. He hails from Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh, and he is a founder of an organization called Talim, which voluntarily trains people with communication and public speaking skills. Additionally, he is also a mentor for Legitlex, an editor for Legitimate Scrutiny, and an advisor for Lawrhyzen. He he is a renowned debater and has been honored by the president of International Council of Jurists for an outstanding debating career, which is still on a roll, by the way. And he's also won a lot of national and international debates, including Frank Anthony All India National Debate in 2014 and Lex Bonanza International Parliamentary Debate in 2018. He's also the author of Criminal Justice System, Not an Offender's Paradise, which is a book that speaks for voiceless victims. Lastly, he strongly believes that a person without an opinion is a person without a backbone. He also believes in the art of fearless expression and rates this activity as the best quality a human can inculcate in himself. Hi, Shivam. We extend a warm welcome to you and congratulate you on all your achievements. We also want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts to take out time and to help law students present with us here today on the topic of how debating and participating in MUNs can uplift the skills of law students.
Thank you so much, Anant. Thank you so much for such a worthy introduction, and thank you so much for having me here. Because no matter how desperately you want to go ahead and do something for people with respect to anything, you need a platform. So thank you for providing this platform not only to me but to all those who actually want to go ahead and do something out there. Really proud of what you guys are doing as an
Absolutely.
organization. Uh, and I think whatever we're doing today is just one step to what you're going to achieve in the future. So thank you so much for having
True,
me here.
true, true. Thank you so much, Shivam. So, what we are going to do today is we're going to have an interactive session. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, which are mostly going to be related to today's topic. And at the end, we will open the chat box for any questions which the participants today can have, which they want to ask you, some advice, some guidance which they want to have. Right. So, let me start with the first question. And of course, this is a question which every student wants to know right now. So, Shivam, if you go around and ask students today which co-curricular activity is the most important for law students, most students would say moot court competitions. However, we do understand that debating as a co-curricular activity is equally important. Now, what we want to know is when you were a law student, why did you prefer debates over moots more than what people generally do?
Okay, that's a very interesting question to start with, Anand. And I think if you actually resolve this question for law students, you actually resolve a lot of their misery in law schools. To be very honest, as every student goes through, I went through the same dilemma. You know, because in a law school, you have a lot of things to look at. You know, a lot of mentors are doing different things and are performing really well at different stuff. You actually have to decide and you have to pick what is preferable for you, what you think is going to benefit you in terms of your personality development, what you think is going to benefit you in terms of your career, what is the overall growth that you're going to get by going for a particular thing. Uh, when you look at different things that a law school offers you, and when you look at the culture that is inculcated in the law schools out there, be it NLUs or be it the top rated private universities or the traditional universities, they've always put a lot of emphasis on doing things that are related to law, mooting being their primary. And they've also put stress on mediation, negotiation, and all those other client counseling, all those other competitions that are somewhere equitably related. For me, also, it was a dilemma. I decided quite early in my career that I would primarily put debating, and I would not, at completely neglect mooting in the first case scenario, but I will somewhere keep debating as my priority, and I'll keep mooting as secondary. Now, it takes a lot of guts to decide that when you are in a law school, okay? And every student, when there's a conflict between these two things, and someone has to pick debating, it is going to be really tough for anybody. Why I preferred mooting was the straightforward question, and if I have to move to it now, is because, see, uh, I have to look at what, when I am going for a particular thing, what am I getting, the outcome that I am achieving of that particular thing. The process is important, I understand, and you learn a lot through the process, but what is the outcome that you are achieving? Okay, with respect to mooting, I realized it is a tremendous activity for a law student. Uh, but for a moment, you have to sit back and realize, is there anything else where you have to put in a little less effort and you can actually achieve somewhere similar outcome what you're achieving in mooting? So when I had to sit back and think of that, I realized, if I write a lot of research papers, maybe, or if I kind of write a lot of articles, have a blog, or maybe do things that are related to participate in an essay competition, do anything with respect to law, where I have to do three things. One, read about the law, read about the things that surround the law, the history of the law, the judgments that are surrounded, and the consequences that the law is providing to the society. Read about that and apply it. Apply it either by speaking it out or by putting it into words and publishing it, getting it out in the, getting it published and getting it, have an ISBN to it, being recognized. And the third activity is learning whatever I had to throughout that particular process. By that, I mean, if I am particularly writing a paper, let's say on culpable homicide as a law student, and I write a paper, I research a lot, I write a paper, that paper gets published, and 2 years down the line, if you ask me a question about culpable homicide, about whatever I have written in my paper, and I'm not able to answer it, I really don't think there's worth doing it. Okay, that's one. Second is, when I looked at mooting, of course, see, I with when I start speaking about mooting right now, let me take that precautious cover and tell you that mooting is something that reflects good on your CV. Number one, it does, right? Number two, when you do mooting, it will not harm you any day. It will just improve you as a law student. That's a fact. You cannot deny that. But the thing that I saw with mooting was, when I'm going for a particular moot, I have a particular moot problem to deal with, and that particular moot problem is related to a particular legal issue, and with respect to a particular statute. What might happen is I might have to refer three or four related statutes for that, related acts for that. But at the end of the day, whatever I am going to prepare for that entire month, all right, is going to stick around that particular legal issue. And the knowledge and the information that I'm going to have for myself, that I'm going to accumulate for myself, is going to revolve around that particular legal issue. Let's say, for example, I have done a particular moot on Article 14. Okay. And I have a lot of research done on Article 14. I know a lot about it. I might answer everything. I mean, because I researched on it, I prepared a memorial, I have represented myself, so I know all about it. But at the same time, you have to understand that when you've done that, the information that you have about Article 14 is vast, but the information that you have about Article 12 might not be as vast. All right. So how do you do that? I mean, one, you pick up moods that you're interested in, and then go and study about it, go and research about it, and represent yourself. You do that so that you have knowledge about things, at least when you're interested in a particular thing. So I did that. What I did was I decided not to devote a lot of time to mooting, not to devote my entire, you know, span of time that whatever I'm getting to, you know, develop myself with respect to my personality, all to mooting. I decided not to do that. Instead, what I did was I said, let's keep it to maybe one moot a year if I can, okay? And that's something that you can have the liberty to do, okay? If you're mooting, okay? I am not saying that you just, just ignore it completely. If you I have, personally speaking, I have done 4 moots in my law career, okay? And I picked up moots based on two things. One, the issues that I was interested in, okay? The laws that I was interested in, so that when I'm going to read about it and research about it, at the end of the day, it gives something to me with respect to my ideology. I can grow with respect to it, keeping in mind my career. Okay. Supposedly, if I want to make a career in litigation, okay, I can keep on mooting on, on things that are not even related to litigation. Okay. I can keep on mooting it, you know, company laws or bankruptcy or things like that. All right, or compliance moods. I can keep on doing that. At the same time, if, let's say, for example, I have a lot of interest, I want to make a career in IPR. No matter how many moods I do in constitution, will that help me with respect to my career? It won't. So I thought to myself, ki, we have a lot of time if we actually divide it this way. Okay. So I would do moods because one, it's important for the CV, that's fair. But I would not do a lot of moods that does not give me a time left out for everything else that I want to do. So a moot a year means 1 month of hard work with respect to mooting. Makes sense. And I did it in first, second, third, and fourth year. I did not do it in fifth year. Uh, so when I chose one moot a year, I picked up. I was interested in criminal law. I picked up criminal law. And with respect to criminal law, also, that's such a vast subject. You really get moods with respect to specific topics you want to debate upon. All right. If you want to debate upon, let's say, protection of children from sexual offenses, you get that. All right. And you can particularly pick those moods and go ahead and go and moot out there. That will help you. On the other hand, when you think that other things are also important, you can actually sit back, write a paper about it, and that's going to be. And what's the interesting part is, people tell me that when you're mooting is, you not only grow with respect to your arguments, you also grow with respect to preparation of your arguments. That's very fair, and there are so many competitions out there which are memorial drafting competitions, which actually means that you can draft a memorial as a team and actually send it, and it's right there in the competition. So you can divide that. You can divide the workload. Okay. You do not have to take all in one. Now, when you do that, that gives you a lot of time and liberty for other things that you want to do. And the other thing I chose was debating. And there were two major reasons to pick up debating in that scenario. The first reason was, debating has been something that's very close to me since my school days. Reason being, I picked it up because there was no mooting, of course, in schools. So you pick up something that's out there, and I picked it up, and that gave me some kind of success. Okay. With respect to success, I mean, it made me happy. It made me feel good. It gave me certain achievements that made my parents feel good. It made my teachers proud of me, and that is all you need as a school student. So when I grew through that, I realized, this is something that I should not give up, because this is something that is giving me happiness. And I could actually, when I moved to college, I could actually figure out, I had a little bit of extra confidence than the other people who were coming right from school and were not into something like public speaking. And you can always feel that, and when you feel that, it's a very good feeling for you, because you're not very uncomfortable to a new place. You can adjust yourself in any particular situation. Of course, as a first year new joinee, you're not mature enough to do all of that, but you have an edge over everybody else, right? Now, when I chose debating in college, and I decided I would devote a lot of time to that, was for major of the reasons that were going on in my head. Okay, and to everybody out there who's listening to me, I want to tell you, see, when you have to decide, when you have to pick up, let's say, debating over mooting or mooting over debating, what you have to do is you have to make sure that you know which way you want to shape your career, right? And it's only when you decide which way you want to shape your career, even then, that's the only case when debating can help you. Otherwise, you can keep on debating and it's not going to help you. It's always said, doing something is never going to make you, successful. Doing it the right way will definitely make you successful. So you can keep on doing something and it will not help you at all. What I mean to say is, when I picked up debating, I realized, see, what do I need, as a law student right now? What are the things that I want in my personality? I realized I want a good analysis power. Okay, I want to analyze things well. I want good interpretation powers. Okay, when I'm a law student, I want to interpret things nicely. Okay, I really wanted a critical thinking approach as a law student. Okay, and when you want a critical thinking approach as a law student, and you want to look at something, I think any day, any random day, I would pick up debating over mooting, which will help you have a critical thinking approach quicker. I'm not saying mooting will not do that, but debating can do that quicker for you. Okay, why do I say that? Because when you are debating, okay, there are different forms of debating for everybody who's here. I'm pretty sure that you would be interested in debate somewhere or the other in your life, and that's why you're here. So there are conventional debates, that's a one-on-one debate. Then there are parliamentary debates, which is an Asian parliamentary and a British parliamentary. Different forms of debating. There are prepared debates and unprepared debates, right? Prepared debates where you're given a topic few days before the competition. Unprepared debates where it's very spontaneous. When you do that, okay, when you're doing a prepared debate, you sit back and research. Okay, because everybody is going to have the same amount of time, everybody is going to have the same kind of content. So your research and the structure, the way you structure your research, the way you put it down, jot it down, and the way you go out there and present it, it's all a process, right? Simply what you do in mooting, it's the exact same process. But here what happens is, you're generally talking about a wider topic, a wider concept. You are not only, suppose you're debating, you will never ever debate on a very narrow issue. Or even if you're debating, your perspectives and ideas will make the debate wide. Okay, it'll make it broad. Let's say, for example, you pick up a debate about the the Kashmir issue, the abrogation of that article. Okay, you pick up that debate. Now, when you pick up a moot with respect to that, and when you pick up a debate with respect to that, two different scenarios of personality development happen. When you're mooting on this particular issue, you will stick to whatever the legal issues are asking for, right? But when you are debating over that particular issue and you have to prove that whatever happened might be wrong or right, you will keep yourself open to whatever you can think of, right? You will have all kind of approaches to your thinking. You will critically analyze every single thing that comes across your mind, and at the same time, you will critically analyze every single thing that you think that comes across the other person's mind. Okay, the other side's mind, the opposition or the proposition, whoever you are, you critically analyze what are the things that are going to benefit them also. Okay, and with that, when you're doing that on a regular basis. Okay, why I do that, why I do think that is because when you go for a parliamentary debate, I'm pretty sure those who've done parliamentary debate or those who are aware of the concept, you get at least five preliminary rounds of debating, right? Five preliminary rounds of debating are a sure shot. And you, when you're doing that, you get five definite debates on five different themes and absolutely different topics, not even related to each other. Okay, you might debate a preliminary round over sports, and you might debate the other preliminary round over international relations, and the third might be education, the fourth might be feminism. It's going to be different always, right? And when you're doing that, you know in a span of 1 day or 1.5 day, do you realize how quickly you are changing your mind and making it adapt to different topics, different themes, and critically just think over different issues and present yourself in a very quicker manner? That is what you're doing, and that makes your personality grow in a vast and a versatile manner. Okay, but when you stick to one particular legal issue and you're just moving around that, with respect to case laws, with respect to your legal backings, with respect to everything, that definitely might help you improving your knowledge, but your knowledge is going to revolve around that legal issue. But here what is happening is you are debating over five different themes, five different topics, five different opponents, and you're actually keeping your mind open to, wide range of thoughts. Another thing that happens with respect to mooting is you develop tremendous listening and note making skills. Okay, I have realized that with my debating career. You know, uh, the moment your opposition will stand up and start speaking is the moment you will pick up a paper and pen in your hand and just start writing it down, because you know you have to go out there and rebut those points. Okay, and now what debate does to you is, in this situation, it takes you out of your comfort zone, right? What do I mean to say is, there are situations, there are instances when you are a firm believer. Let's say I'm going to take an example, no sentiments to any, no no hurting of sentiments to anyone. Let's say, for example, you are a great believer of RSS, maybe. Okay, and you get to have a debate where you have to speak against the ideology of RSS. Okay, now what I mean to say is, this is a particular topic which is very sentimental, very sensitive. Okay, and you actually might go out and hurt people. So when you're doing a debate like that, it takes you out of your comfort zone. And when it takes you out of your comfort zone, it actually prepares you for all those kinds of situations that you're going to face as a lawyer. Okay, now imagine as a lawyer, when uh, advocate Singh, he fought the Nirbhaya case from the side of the convicts, right? Imagine the kind of pressure that he was having socially. He was always out of his comfort zone, but unless you are used to it, it's going to be a tremendous problem for you as a lawyer, even if when you're into litigation. Or imagine you are into corporates, and you happen to negotiate over a contract, but the other party is just making you go out of your comfort zone and argue over it. Unless you have the habit of doing it, it's going to be really, really difficult for you. All right. So, when I am saying that, I would just go on and state a few points now, which might make it easier for you to understand why specifically debating is something that I've been emphasizing upon. And when I'm saying that, I mean, whenever you're going to touch upon a sensitive topic, and you're going to debate over it, you always are in the situation where you might hurt a lot of sentiments. So you learn an art of gracious stating of points, right? You learn the art of graciously putting forward whatever your beliefs are in a manner that does not hurt the sentiments of others and also solves the purpose of you getting that point across in the debate. So you learn that. And as a lawyer, you need to have that skill. You really, really need to have that skill. Another thing that debate does to you is it keeps you in a situation of quick responses. Okay, you might go out and speak for 5 minutes, the other person speaks for 5 minutes and cuts across 5 out of your 10 points. Now if you do not go and defend your 5 points, you are done. You are never winning that debate. So what you do is you go out there and quickly find out things that back your arguments. Okay, and when I'm saying that, you have to understand that it helps you grow as a lawyer when you have to defend something legally, right? So whatever you're stating, you just can never go out there and just ideologically or perspective wise defend it. You always have to give a backing that's written in black and white out there somewhere, right? So when you do that, and when you're doing legal debates with respect to that, you always grow as a lawyer. Okay, see, when you're doing, and Anand, when I'm talking about sensitive issues, we've it's very, debating over sensitive issues has been really close to me. Okay, because it's a threefold scenario. I have stated that, I would just repeat that and then move on to my next point. You have to understand these sensitive issues when you're debating upon them, or any issue for that matter when you're debating upon that. You you develop perspectives, and when I'm saying perspectives, and not only perspective, I'm actually meaning it in proper sense, plural sense, because you understand that when you are debating out there, you speak your point out there, the other person comes and speaks something that you never thought of. All right, you never have thought of that particular point, and it gets here right in your head, and you will definitely remember that point. That's a perspective that you will develop. Okay, the other thing that happens is you know how to structure your arguments, and that's very very important. Okay, structuring your arguments means you might have a lot of knowledge and you want to say a lot about a particular thing, but at the same time, if you do not know what to say first, what to say last, your point is not going to make sense. So structure of argument is very important, and as a lawyer you need to realize, okay, when you produce to the judge your arguments, as a litigating lawyer or as a corporate lawyer, when you produce your points to a particular client or a particular customer, you need to make sure that you convince either the judge or the client or the customer, right? And when do you do that? When you actually have structured your argument in a manner that one after the other, it forms a chronological chain of convincing events, right? And in a debate, you do that. How do you do that? People who are out there, before I forget, I would just put it right across. Prataksha is going to be very well versed with this because I might have told her 1,000 times about this. How do you structure your argument? You structure your argument on the basis of something that I refer as ARSE. Okay. If you want to make a note of this, guys, please do, because this is going to, if you're going to debate in your life, this is going to be your Brahmastra, your Mool Mantra for debating. ARSE means A for assertion, where you assert a point. R is for reasoning, where you reason a point. S is for substantiation, where you substance your point, where you provide substance to whatever your argument is. And E is for exemplification, where you provide examples to your particular point. Okay. If you do that, you have produced a complete point across, and it's very difficult for somebody to come over and cut that point through. Now, as a lawyer, what do you do? Exactly the same thing, isn't it? When you're standing in front of the judge and you have to produce a particular point, you assert your point, okay, and then you give reasons as to why you're saying that. Then you provide substance to it in terms of judgments, in terms of statutes, in terms of acts, in terms of observations by the court, in terms of moral grounds with respect to anything. But you provide substance to it, and then you provide examples. That is what you do as a lawyer. Okay, and that is you are always, that is what something that you're always going to do, because as a lawyer you have to understand, you are either going to make your career in academics, or you're going to make your career as a corporate lawyer, or you're going to make your career as a litigating lawyer, or you're going into judiciary, or you're going to do something that's indirectly related to law. Maybe you would be a content writer, or you would be into bureaucracy, you would be into politics, you would do anything. But when you're doing these things, you have to understand, as an academician, when you have to put a point across, ARSE is the correct mechanism of putting a point across. How do you make sure that you're doing that very perfectly? By practicing it every now and then. And how do you practice it every now and then? by going out there and debating against the best debaters in the country, who are actually putting ARSE into the structure mechanism every other day. And when you're going to get even any close to them, you will know how to structure your arguments as a lawyer. Okay, so you will learn that art. As a corporate lawyer, you will structure your arguments to convince your client. As a litigating lawyer, you'll structure your arguments to convince the judge. Judiciary also, when you're sitting right there in the chair, you have to structure a judgment, because you just cannot say, okay, you were saying he murdered, you were saying he did not murder, I agree he murdered. That's not the judgment. You have to reason your judgment. So ARSC is something that's always there, that, in that situation as well, you will always have to follow this. And if you do, you're going to make a tremendous, at least a tremendous career with respect to structuring your arguments. Okay, you learn the art of drafting your arguments. When you're debating also, you learn that art of drafting your arguments, because you do not have a lot of time. If you guys are aware, parliamentary debates provide you 15 minutes of preparation time, and in 15 minutes, what you do is you just jot down points, whatever comes across, and then you go and elaborate over it. Okay, as a lawyer also, you will never have a file in hand that states everything and you cannot go out and read them. Okay, you need to learn the art of looking at a particular point and keeping everything here and being able to present that. Okay, and you know you a lot of times what happens in a debate is you get to, or you have to defend something that you do not personally believe in. Okay, there was a particular debate that talked about triple talaq, and I had to actually go and defend that triple talaq should not have been unconstitutionalized. I firmly believe it should have been, but as a debater, I had that job in hand, and I had to go ahead and do it. And when I went ahead and did it, I realized there are points on the other side of of the topic as well. And there are things that because that's something that's been prevailing since ages, and it can't just exist out there without having anything in the air. So you know that there is some, you might have a weak case, but that is what it does. As a lawyer, you will never always get a strong case, and you will only be a fantastic lawyer when you actually can take over those weak cases and make them stronger on your side. So how can you do that? You can actually do that every other time in debating. Okay, uh, you know what debating did to me personally was something that killed my fear of being grilled and scrutinized. Okay, and as a lawyer, be ready for that, because in the court of law, you might have gone to your internships and you know how judges grill lawyers, and we are just not ready for that if we have not faced that in our law careers. Okay, grilling happens tremendously in mooting, but the grilling that I am talking about here is not only, where you are speaking a certain point and I cut that point off and I ask you a random question from a random act at a random statute and ask you to tell that. That's not the only grilling that I'm talking about. That might help you. It definitely might help you, and that, that's something that you can definitely look up to. As I stated, I did, once a year. But the grilling I'm talking about is, I have stated a point very, very confidently, that's going to get across. Somebody comes in and just questions that point with his reasons, his substantiations, and his examples. And now I have nowhere to go, but I have to actually go out there and defend that point. That's the kind of grilling, because now the 15 minutes that I took to prepare a point has been cut down by the other person's reason and substantiation and exemplification. And now I do not even have 15 seconds to prepare myself. Sounds very difficult, but when you do that on a daily basis, when you do that on a regular basis at least, you get used to that grilling and scrutiny. Okay, you have to be ready that your point is, no matter how good it is, it might have to be on the table. Okay, it might have to be analyzed. Okay, and with debates, what you do is you restore your faith in the process. Okay, because it's not always that you win, right? Never in any situation, whatever you do not win. Okay, with debates, why I'm saying that is because sometimes you might feel ki, this particular topic is really one-sided, and I'm getting to defend that one side, and my case is really strong and my points are really strong, and I'm definitely winning this. There's nothing in my life that can defeat this, but you just get defeated in that particular debate. And when you do that regularly, and when that happens to you quite a number of times, you realize that it's not always that it seems. It's about different perspectives. So you're open to that now. you now what happens is you start trusting the process, and by that I mean you start believing the fact that I need to give my 100%. I need to do everything that's required to be done, and I need to ensure that I leave no shots empty. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, it never had to work out. Okay, and I will move to the next step. That's the only thing that you do. You will not be an emotional fool sitting out there having a drawback with your own career, and it will prepare you for that. Last point about this question, Anant, is that uh, I realize when I'm mooting, I actually have to devote a lot of time and then actually reach that particular stage where I can go out and present myself. Okay, and the time for presentation that I have is like 5 minutes and 6 minutes, 5 minutes and 6 minutes. That happens in most of the moods, right? In some qualification rounds, and when you qualify, it might go and extend to 10 minutes. Okay, grilling. एक एक घंटे तक हुई है, so I understand that. But when I say debating, I know tomorrow there's a debate. All I need to do is reach that particular place. Okay, and I do not have to carry any baggage with myself, any mental stress with myself. All that is going to happen in that particular debate. The learning, the winning, the losing, the comprehending, everything is going to happen in there. Okay, so it does not require a lot of preparation. All those guys here who who you think mooting is important, it certainly is. But at the same time, why I'm telling you debating is because it will not take a lot of your time, it will not put you a lot in under a lot of stress, and it will not make you feel like a loser ever as a lawyer. Okay, if you lose a debate, you will always feel okay, there's another debate. It's just that I might not have put my points nicely across. When you lose a moot, you actually are in a setback. Okay, that maybe I do not have enough knowledge about this particular legal issue, or maybe I just did not research well, or maybe I could have done well, in drafting my arguments. And all of those questions start coming to your mind, and you feel very underconfident about yourself. Okay, don't let that happen to you. Go out there, you want to moot, but at the same time, when all these questions come to you, make sure that you utilize that. Okay, there are alternatives that I looked up to. I did four moots, but at the same time, when there was a particular moot and I did not go for that moot, and I liked the concept of that moot, I liked the particular problem that it had, I started writing a paper over it. Okay, so you can actually utilize your time like that. Utilize you, because mooting has alternatives. Okay, you can actually prepare a memorial and submit it in a memorial competition. You can actually write an essay on a particular legal issue. You can actually do things that can actually help you improve your knowledge with respect to that legal issue. But debating, it has no alternatives. I am telling you, it does not have an alternative. Unless you go out there and debate, you do not, no matter, you might have a lot of opinions about a particular topic. Let's say there was a particular topic, that it was a very recent debate. It was a very particular, a very nice topic that said, you know uh, abortion should be allowed at all stages in pregnancy. Okay, and that's a very general topic, nothing to do with law students, right? Nothing to do with law students. But you just imagine when you get that topic and you do not have any idea about, can abortions actually be allowed at all stages in pregnancy, or it's, with certain medical conditions, it's always implemented. Now that's the point when you're going to learn the art of structuring arguments about something that you do not have a lot of idea about. Now that's the point when you're actually going to utilize all your analyzing skills, structuring skills, presenting skills. And by the way, it is tremendous art, because there are five parameters you judged upon in a conventional debate. Those parameters are matter, presentation, diction, modulation, and interjection. That's the 5 points. Okay, and if you actually have a handy experience with these five things, if you know how to put, what the matter that you're going to speak upon, if you have a good confidence over it, if you know how to present it, the best ways of presenting it, if you know how to interject the other person's points, and how to answer the rebuttals that the other person has presented before you, Modulation and diction are two things that a law career does not give a lot of emphasis on. You should. Okay. Modulation and diction are two things that make your speech look thousand times more beautiful. Okay. You need to know the right pauses. You need to know where you know what are the words you need to emphasize upon. You need to know where to stop, when not to. You need to understand when the other person is listening to you and when he is not. You need to, there are communication tips and tricks that happens, and you get to learn a lot of it when you're debating. Okay, a lot of it. So hence I've given a long lecture over this, but this was a question, that a lot of people have asked, and I could not actually sit back and explain this to them, because nobody in life wants to give you this much of time to understand why you're doing this and not that. But since you people are here, it seems you people wanted to know about it, and that's why I utilize this platform to just go ahead and explain this. So yeah, that is it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the detailed question. Actually, it answers a lot of other questions which we had in mind, but um, I'll just anyway ask you a couple of more questions if you could, touch upon them in brief. These are some other questions which students also have. One of them is, and this is of course not directly related to mooting or debating, but it's more of a personal question to you. You're currently working with a very renowned corporate of India. How much of a role did your debating experience help in landing up such a job? How would you answer that?
That's thank you for the question. Okay, so all my CV states is debating. Okay, to be very honest, that's the only thing that my CV states. I was never a college topper. Okay, I was never somebody who has tremendous achievements with respect to mooting or mediations or client counselings or things like that. I was always a person who tried everything he was interested in. Okay, I tried my share of sports, I tried my share of debating, I've done my share of mooting, but debating is something that reflects entirely on my CV. Okay, why I believe that actually helped me is because, one, I believe whatever I am as a person today, in terms of my personality, in terms of my behavior, in terms of my communication skills, in terms of my convincing abilities, it is all because of whatever I have given to debating, whatever debating has given back to me. Okay, and uh, you know I firmly believe, the kind of communication that a person does half the job for him. Okay, uh, if you're good at communicating, if you're good at putting your points across, if you're good at ensuring that whatever you're just going ahead and speaking is something that you firmly believe in and you're confident about it, if you actually know how to read a person's mind through, if he's liking your answer, if he's not liking your answer, if he's if he's just wanting to listen to something else, all of those things. And debating, for that matter, had given me a lot of that art. So particularly speaking, one, it definitely, whatever jobs are there, it always depends on a demand and supply concept. If they need you, then only they hire you. But at the same time, if they have to choose between two people, I personally think they always prefer to choose somebody, a corporate. I'm talking about right now because we're talking about my job. So a corporate always wants to, hire people who are, good at representing themselves or presenting themselves in front of everybody they are associated with. Okay, because when you go and sit in a corporation, you actually are speaking for them. Okay, you are representing them. Okay, you're speaking on their behalf, and now whatever you're going to do is going to reflect in their name. So they always want to hire people who are good with communication skills, who are good with presentation skills, who are good with ensuring that there are no communication gaps. So these are things that the corporation looks forward to. At the same time, you need to be good with you need to be good with your subjects. You need to uh, you know be worthy of a particular job profile that they want you for. Having said that, If you are a debater and if you have good communication skills, if you have good convincing skills, if you are, if you have the proper kind of confidence, if you have, a good idea of, when to speak, when not to speak, you know, when to wait, when to modulate, the modulation and diction that I was talking about, all these things definitely will help you crack any kind of interview or any kind of group discussion. Because see, we happen to have a group discussion and then a personal interview for the job, right? Most of the job opportunities that will come across will have this. Some might have a three-step process, which is a written test, then a group discussion, and then a personal interview. And we had a three-step process where they shortlisted our CVs in the first instance. The second was GD, and the third was PI. I personally believe GD was. I did not face any problems with GD, because GD is, for me, it's just like another legal debate that I'm being involved in, but in a more gentle manner, in a more gracious manner, because it's a group discussion and not a debate that I need to win. Okay, so that had to be in mind. Personal interview, again, I'm telling you, it helped me across, because communication and things like this always will help you have an edge over somebody who knows a lot about all the legal questions that are going to be asked, but just does not know how to put that across. So
Got it. I think that answer will be very useful for a lot of students who are aiming to join not a traditional law firm, but maybe a corporate or something like that. Also, Shivam, now for a beginner, someone who's just starting to debate, which are some of the debates which they can try? Any known names? And I have the same question for you in relation to an advanced level debater. Like, what are some of these names which these type of debaters can actually try out? I think that will be useful for.
perfect, perfect. So to all the beginners out there who who have developed an interest in debating, make sure that you start with conventional form of debating. Okay, conventional form of debating is the same debating style that used to happen in our schools, where there were maybe 10 people in the debate, five speaking for the motion, five speaking against the motion. You speak your turn out, and you just go back and sit there, and somebody asks you a question, then you answer it. That was the profile of the debate. I would suggest everybody who's starting to debate to start with conventional form of debating. uh, when you start with conventional form of debating, you actually learn the basics of debating, which is stage presentation, basic rebuttal skills, argument structuring, things like that, that you actually need to learn before you actually advance yourself to another level. When you're talking about certain debates that you do, if you actually want to have a good long career with respect to debating, uh, and make sure that you start debating with with no any of those non-legal debates. When I say that, I say you debate over general social issues. Okay, there are numerous debates that that happen across various colleges. Okay, uh, one of those debates is the IP debate. Okay, the IP conventional debate is one very famous debate. Although they organize it, the name is called the Rakesh Memorial Debate. In case you want to know, it's called the Rakesh Memorial Debate. It's a very nice debate. Okay, where you actually are supposed to debate on a particular socio-legal topic. Okay. Uh, why I know of this, because I did not actually start in college from the very scratch of an absolutely non-legal debate. I started with social legal debates in college. Okay, so that would be one of those debates. And when when you're talking about names, there are debates that that do not happen across every year, but there's another debating society from Jaipur that's called the Uthan Debating Society. Okay, they also have some good conventional debates that they organize, and this is all for beginner levels. Okay, uh, and you have these two names at the same time. Whenever you hear of any of those conventional debates that's happening in any of those colleges, on a social legal or a social topic, uh, you always go ahead and do that. Okay. By that I mean, you do not only look forward to debates of law colleges. There might be management colleges that might organize a particular debate. Okay, and that might actually be, and they might organize it on an occasion of, let's say, 15th August. So you're going to particularly debate on, you have an idea that you're going to debate on a topic that's related to the country. Okay, some kind of patriotic topic or some kind of national interest topic. So do all these kind of debates. Do not spend a lot of time doing that, but make sure that you do at least a couple of them. So you basically, what you do is you get an idea about, you know the kind of difference that's there from school to college. Also, you understand how debaters here in college go out there and debate. There are a little little changes that actually are there, because this becomes more of a matter kind of debate. It does not only remain a presentation kind of debate. So matter and presentation are equally important here. So you do all these non-social, social or social legal debates, and then you move to legal debates. The legal debates, you know, every college of TU, Gargi in particular, okay, has its conventional debate, and they organize a fantastic conventional debate on legal topics. Okay. Uh, then there is NUJs and NLU Bhopal. These two NLUs have their conventional debates every year. Okay, and they also have tremendous level of debating with respect to legal debates. So my idea here is, for the beginners, you start from a social issue, a debate that's, the theme revolves around social issues. Then you move to social legal, and then you move to legal debates. And then once you go ahead and start doing legal debates, make sure that you do not move back to social debates. As a law student, I'm telling you, if you're just a passionate debater and you want to debate everything out there, just go out and do it. But if you want to see that, if I'm debating whether it's going to help me as a law student or not, do not move back to social issues. Keep debating on social legal or legal issues. And whenever, as a debater, this is for beginners, I'm trying to tell you, whenever you are going out and debating, make sure that whatever, when I told you ARSE, make sure when you're providing your S, when you're providing your substantiation, make sure that you provide your, somebody asked what's the full form of ARSE, I would repeat that. It's assertion, reasoning, substantiation, and exemplification. So when you're doing that, when you're providing substance to your particular point, make sure that if it has anything with respect to law, or anything related to law, suppose you're debating on a particular thing and you think constitution somewhere supports it. Suppose you're debating on a particular religious issue and you think the constitution actually supports religion and people allows people to worship their religion. Make sure that you go ahead and say that, even if you do not know the exact article, even if you do not know the exact statute or what it says or the judgments out there. Chill. Just go out there and make sure that you state that it's right there in the constitution. It states this. And that's my defense. What will happen is, it will not only provide strength to your particular debate, it will also, bring some kind of, it will make you very much interested in knowing about that particular thing in detail. And if you're doing that, you will actually go out and read about it. And when you do that very frequently, you indirectly and unintentionally start reading about so many legal things that are actually related to social legal issues, which, as a lawyer, by the way, we should always know. So that's there. Now let's move to the advanced level debaters. If you've actually been debating since time, and you actually have a good grip over debating, the conventional debating has its own kind of taste. But at the same time, do not spend a lot of time now over conventional debating. switch from conventional debating to parliamentary debatings, and prefer Asian parliamentary debates over British parliamentary debates. That's my personal suggestion. Why I'm saying that is because I think Asian parliamentary debates provide you better opportunities of finishing the debate. On the other hand, the British parliamentary debates keep you left out and you just feel that you've not been able to finish the debate. Reason being, Asian parliamentary debates has three people as a team, and British parliamentary debates has two people as a team. So, the job is always difficult with two people rather than three people. Start doing Asian parliamentary debates. And when you want to know Asian parliamentary debates, the one of my favorite debates is Peck Chandigarh. Okay, Peck Chandigarh is one of the phenomenal debates that I personally have attended. Go out there and do it. Uh, NUJS organizes a tremendous parliamentary debate, and when you can pick up any debate from the Delhi University circuit. So when a Delhi University circuit is organizing a particular parliamentary debate, just go out there and debate. Uh, you will always get a lot of opportunities to learn. There are universities in South as well that provide you a few opportunities of debating. I personally did not ever have an opportunity to go out there and debate because it's very far. Uh, but at the same time, I think I know a few debaters coming from South, and they've done really, really well in their debating career. But particularly, I would definitely tell you what I know about. So, any debate from DU, any debate from Peck Chandigarh, and their fest is called Trivium when they organize their particular debate. So, in case you're looking forward to a debate like that, Trivium is something that you can look up to. Not to boast about, but having been there in that position and having organized a debate out there in my own college, I would definitely suggest you to go out there and debate in the college. In my own college, that's University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, School of Law. We organize a parliamentary debate every year. Uh, it has set its standards. Okay, so not only because it's my college, it would definitely help you enhance your debating skills. One thing that I would suggest you when you're going out there and debating as an advanced debater is that never go out there and debate when and that's two things, okay, before I forget. Never go out there and debate a particular competition when the debating team and the debating management is the same. Okay, uh, the debating team and the debating management, if it's the same and you're going to debate against them, uh, there might be no confusion at all. They might all be fair. They might organize a very smooth competition, but somewhere or the other, that debate creates a conflict. And when it creates a conflict, it hampers your debating skills. It does, okay? It might not sound like it, but it will. And it will, when you have a particular conflict with a particular debating circuit, that will actually spoil your terms with a lot of other debaters across in the circuit. So, number one, when the debating management and the organizing management and the debating team you're debating against is the same, make sure to tell the management that, either change the management for this. Either, I mean, by the management, I mean the judges. Okay, if the judges belong to the same college you're debating against, just for the purpose of controversy avoidance, just tell them that just change the judges out there, or the runner that's there in the debate, or the timekeeper for that matter, things like that. Okay, and second thing, as an advanced debater, I would want to tell you is you might hear from a lot of people, okay, that there's a lot of partiality going on in this particular debate. Don't go out and do this. Just choose some other debate. Okay, do not believe in that. Just don't believe in that, because unless you yourself go out there and find out if it's true or not, and find out what's the level of debating that a particular competition is is offering you, you will never be able to get it from other people. I might have a particular opinion about a competition that I thought was unfair, but every other person might think it is fair. So I am just telling you, because just by this you might not miss an opportunity of doing a good debate. So as an advanced debater, move from conventionals to doing parliamentary debates, preferably Asian parliamentary debates. And in case you want to do British parliamentary debates, I want to tell you, IIM Indore organizes their British parliamentary debate every year, and the level of debating is superb, superb. So go out there and debate. That's it. In case there's any other competition that you would like to suggest me, please do, because I do not want to miss out on good debates.
Thank you so much, Shivam. That was also a very helpful answer. Now I think we're through with the debating topic, and I just wanted to briefly touch upon MUNs, which is also a part of the of today's discussion. How do MUNs help in the personality or skill development of any law student? That's the first part of my question. And maybe with the answer which you're going to give, you can also um, help students understand what are some of the MUNs which you have participated in, or what are some of the MUNs which beginners can try and advanced level MUN participants can try. And that this is going to be my last question, and then we'll open the chat box for the questions of the students.
All right. Thank you again for the question, Anant. See, as far as MUNs are concerned, uh, I was someone who wanted to go ahead and do MUNs, and I did a lot of them. But at the same time, I always preferred debating over MUNs. So in case just before we move ahead, just trying to provide you a clarity that in case you want to be a good public speaker, and you want to decide between whether you should go for an MUN or a debate, pick a debate. That's going to be a little better and a little quicker with respect to your personality development. MUNs, of course, when you do not have a debate around, you can definitely go out there and have a particular have a particular participation. Now, when I say MUN, there are two different things that happen at an MUN. There are United Nation committees, okay, that are there, and then there are Indian committees that are there. Okay, in case you are one person who is looking forward to your development as a good law student who is well versed with Indian laws, well versed with his subjects, uh, your committees should be Indian committees. By Indian committees, I mean it can be all India political parties meet, it can be Lok Sabha, it can be Rajya Sabha, any of those Indian committees. Where you where what happens in these particular debates, in these particular youth parliaments or MUNs, what you call is, uh, you discuss on a particular bill, let's say, okay, that's actually been produced in the parliament, has not been passed as an act. Now, what you get to do is something that has not been passed as an act. You get to pick up portfolios for yourself, go out there and help that bill either get passed in the parliament or not get passed in the parliament. And by that, when you start doing that, you will not be able to do that unless you know everything about that particular bill. Okay, so you start researching over the history, you start researching over why was the bill brought in, what is the necessity, what is the problem that is going to create, what are the solutions that's going to create, and you will get to know a lot of things in and around that particular bill. Okay, the laws that support the bill, the laws that were there to actually defend the bill, and everything. You will read everything. And Indian committees in that situation have, you are an individual, okay, and let's say there are, on an average, let's say it's a very weak committee and there are just 25 people out there. Okay, I assume 10 of them are not even speaking, 15 of them are actually having an actual participation. Imagine on that particular bill or on that particular dispute or on that particular idea, 14 other people are going to provide their opinions. Okay, we're actually participating in the debate, and they're going to defend it from their own scenarios and ideas, and they're going to provide as many backings as they have to. So what you get to do is you get to learn a lot about a particular bill that's going to be passed as an act, maybe. If it's not a bill, it's always, when you're doing an Indian committee, it's always some or the other issue that is always legally related. Okay, you just can never skip something which is not legally related and have a youth parliament over that. And if it's there, do not go, because then researching over a particular topic will not help you if it's not even related to your, you know, subjects. So that is there. Okay. Also, what happens there is, if you're participating in a Lok Sabha, you get to learn how a Lok Sabha runs in practical, right? How a Lok Sabha functions in practical. Okay, you get to have a demo experience of of a, you know, Lok Sabha running. Then when you participate in a Rajya Sabha, you get a handy experience of how a Rajya Sabha runs. Then what I'm trying to tell you is you get a very handy experience of practical, uh, you know, functionality of Indian politics. Okay, which as a law student you might make a career in corporate and you might have nothing to do with it. But till you are a law student, you should actually be knowing all this. You should actually be knowing how a Lok Sabha functions or a Rajya Sabha functions and things like that. So that is there. That's with the Indian committees. It will always offer you subjects that, you know, it will always offer you themes, subjects, and topics that are related to your field, to the legal field. Okay. Now, when you move to British committees, the United Nation committees, the committees, you get topics and themes that are internationally recognized. Okay. Uh, Supposedly you might get to have a particular theme on labor laws, the international labor laws, and then you actually research, you know, the the existence of labor laws, where it's coming from, or what the needs of those laws to be in existence. Why does the international community recognize it? And what happens in an MUN is you get to represent a particular country. Okay, and when you do that, you actually, you know, get to learn a lot about the perspective of that country towards that particular topic. Okay, why is it such a vast learning process? Is because, you know, you do not get to learn a particular individual's perspective. Okay, you get to learn a country's perspective, and you actually get an idea about how a country is approaching a particular thing in the international community. Why is it doing so? What are its relations with the other countries that are approaching it the other way? And you get to know so much about things that are happening internationally out there. Again, as a law student, there are things that you're supposed to know about. I mean, I'm not saying you should know everything on which the MUNs happen, but at the same time, there are things that you need to understand. Okay, so let's say, for example, there is a particular MUN about environmental activities going out there. You know, if you participate in there and you're interested in environment laws, trust me, the amount of knowledge that you're going to get from participating in that particular MUN, and by researching your thing, and by listening to the research that everybody else is providing in that particular competition, you will have a vast knowledge about that particular environment issue. Okay, so that is there. That is how MUNs and YPs help you. MUNs and YPs are generally 2 days, and you get a lot of learning from that MUN and YP. Also, one thing, Anand, with respect to debating and MUNs and YPs, is that, you know, it kind of helps you retain the knowledge. Why does it happen that way? Is because when you have stressed hard to prove a point, you always will remember the point. Okay, if you've had a particular debate over, you know, let's say, the okay, the 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 demonetization stuff, for that matter. Okay, and you know, I'm trying to keep it very general. So if you've got to have a debate over the demonetization stuff, and you actually debate over it, or you, let's say, okay, a better example I have is, suppose you get to have a debate over the Rafale issue being a national issue. I mean, being something, an issue of national security or not. Okay, because they brought it in the ambit of national security and moved it out of the ambit of RTI. Now, when you get to have a debate over that, what actually happens is you you put across your points with a lot of legal backings, and while you do that, you actually, you know, when whenever next time, a year later, a couple of years later, if I just ask you one particular point, as in why do you think this happens, and you've actually put across a lot of effort to prove your point with your reasons, with your substantiations, with your examples, they will always be somewhere in your head. So your retention of knowledge happens better when you're going out and debating. So that is all I wanted to put across. Is there something that I've left unanswered? You can definitely tell.
No, I think you've covered almost everything related to MUNs and debating. Now, I think the participants, if they have any kind of questions which they want to ask from Shivam, they're free to do so. You can use the chat box and you can message your question. We already have a question.
Okay, I don't know what the name is, but the question is that where can he or she learn about the different kind of debates? See, I already told you. I would mention this once again, so you can just go out there, Google it yourself. It's something that you just will need approximately 15 minutes, and you will know about them. Okay. There are just three kinds of debates that I want to state right now that you need to know about. Others you just can keep aside, because I would not, want you to just get into the intricacies and skip this. So the first is the conventional style of debating. Just, you know, conventional style is one-on-one debating, so you can just go out there and read about it. Then there is Asian parliamentary debating, which is a debate where three people form a team, and the other is the British parliamentary debating, where two people form a team. And then, of course, there are youth parliaments and MUNs out there. And when right here, when I've told you debating is good, I am also telling you choose your debates very wisely. Okay. By very wisely, I mean only go for debates when you're interested in debates on a particular theme. So if you're going for a conventional debate and you're interested in that theme, then only go out there. Otherwise, you're not going to make any use of it, and it's not going to benefit you at all. Okay.
Also, just
Yeah.
to add to that, we are actually starting a blog. We already have a lot of these helpful blog sections for mooting, for career related advice, for internships, and we're about to start the same for debating as well. So I've sent everyone a link of our knowledge center, and you can just keep checking it, or you can be on the WhatsApp group which we have, and you will definitely see a post on the question which the person had just asked. All right. I think Siddhi's
Okay.
question was sort of answered by Shivam. Shivam, if you can just in a line or two, if you can answer this question again for the benefit of Siddhi, she's asking in which type of debate first year law students should participate.
Okay, Siddhi, if you are someone who's been debating back in school also and you've carried this forward to college, uh, do a couple of conventional debates that involve socio-legal or legal issues, and then move to parliamentary concept of debating. And if you are a beginner and you've not debated in the past, or you've debated and you think that you need to start over all again, you need to start from conventional debatings that involve social issues, then move to socio-legal issues, then debate over legal issues, and when you're done with all three, then move to parliamentary debating. It might, ask you to go to your second year and then do parliamentary debates, but that's okay because that's the process. I do not want you to go to parliamentary debates and be scared. You should belong there, and you will only belong there when you've gone through the process. Okay.
Got it. Got it.
Lakshmi, I guess, has a question.
Sir,
Okay.
can you
So
please repeat the 5 points on the basis of which debating is judged?
okay, so the debating, conventional debating is judged on the basis of your content, that's called matter. Okay. The second is your presentation, is how you present yourself. And in a conventional debate, let me tell you, there's a difference in presentation judgments. In a conventional debate, how you're dressed is very important. In a conventional debate, how you present yourself on the stage in front of the podium is very important. So that's there in the conventionals. So you know how to do that. In a parliamentary debate, because that's an advanced level of debating, they focus more on your matter and the manner you're putting forward the matter, and they'll focus very less on how you're dressed up. You might go out there and debate in a kurta, which people usually prefer to do. So that's there with respect to these two, the difference. Okay, now coming back to the point, your matter, that's the content, then your presentation, then your modulation, then your diction, and the last is your interjection, how you answer the questions asked by the other participants and how you ask questions to the other participants. So these are the 5 points. And when it comes to parliamentary debating, there's just two things: matter and manner. So that's advanced level of debating. So when you move through the process, you will learn this.
All right. Sonia has a question. Sir, it all comes to confidence on actually doing a debate. I am a first year law student and I have never done a debate back in my school. Also, I have some kind of fear in public speaking. Please provide some points on how I can practice.
Uh, okay, Sonia. Okay, so Anand, this reminds me of what we actually do with Talim. This was the reason why we started Talim, because I really wanted
All right.
people to, fight that fear of public speaking. So, Sonia, in case you need help, you personally can get in touch with me. And when you talk about some tips, I would not only give it for you, but everybody who's present out here and who would want to listen to this. There are some basic skills that you need to follow when you're going to start debating. Okay, when I started debating, I knew that I am not going to rock it. You know. In the very beginning, or there might be a possibility that I will never rock it. So what I did was I did a lot of mirror practice. I picked up topics of my choice. I used to jot down points, maybe 7, 8, or 10 points on one sheet of paper. I used to keep it in front of me, stand in front of the mirror, and try to speak as long as possible on those points. Okay, initially I might not be able to make a lot of sense, or initially I might not be able to structure my arguments in a very nice manner, but I used to do that. And for a matter of fact, I'm not ashamed to say that I really used to annoy myself doing that. Okay, when I used to listen to myself, I used to get depressed and disheartened that whether I'm going to make it or not. But I used to do that every day. Mirror practice is one tremendous kind of practice that's going to help you develop as a debater. Second thing that will always and never go out of fashion is reading. Read about things. Okay, read about things that you're interested in, because you will pick up debates when you're interested in a particular thing. So suppose you have an interest over international relations. Okay, start reading international relations. Start reading, start being aware about things that are happening in and around time about international relations. And the more you read, the more confident you will become. you know do not, there's a very famous quote in debating, and that was the quote that one of my mentors had given me on a t-shirt, that says, do not raise your voice, improve your arguments. Okay, and as it said, an empty vessel makes the most noise. So do not, you as a debater, you do not have to be that, and you will not be that only when you're reading well. So the more you know about a particular thing, you will be able to put your point across. And when I told you ARSE, assertion, reasoning, substantiation, okay, okay, assertion, reasoning, substantiation, and exemplification, you will be able to do that 1,000 times better when you know about a certain thing, when you've read about it. So spend a lot of time reading about things. When you're going to debate, read about things and go to debate. When you've debated and for some reason you might not have been able to read about it, make sure you go back and read about it. So next time when you're debating over it, you are debating in a better manner and you have better things to go out there and say. So reading, mirror practicing. Another thing, another trick that might help you is uh, recording your own speech. Okay, if standing in front of the mirror makes you uncomfortable, what you can do is prepare a speech, speak that out, and record it. And then when you've recorded it, after some point of time, when you listen to it, you will actually see how you sound to yourself. And that's a very nice method of improving your mistakes in a very quick manner. So these three things, follow that. There are other techniques as well that we put across to kids. So get in touch with me and I will help you do that.
That's a tremendous advice, and thank you so much for being available to the students for any kind of you know extra knowledge, advanced level knowledge, which they might need for becoming better debaters. So, for everyone present out here, the participants today, or anybody who's watching us on YouTube, if you guys have any questions which you want to get solved through Shivam, you can directly reach out to him. Shivam, are you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I am on LinkedIn and I am sharing
Great.
my mail ID here, so that's not a
Sure,
problem
sure,
at
sure,
all. They can get in touch with me.
sure, sure, sure. All right. I think because we don't have any other questions, I will just yeah. Wait. Sir, how do we get to know about different debate competitions? Lakshmi, the answer to that is very simple. We have our own platform at Memo Pundits where we post details about every event which is relevant for law students. We don't charge any kind of organizers. That is why we post all organizing committees events which are happening. There are some websites present out there which will charge the organizers. That is why students like you, students like a lot of needy students who want to participate in competitions, they are not able to view any kind of events which do not have that kind of budget. But our knowledge center posts each and every event which is useful for any kind of law student. So just log on to our knowledge center and you'll find the details of any upcoming competition. Also, Shivam has just sent his email ID. You can reach out to him for any kind of help you want regarding getting over the fear of public speaking or any debating related help which you might require. Also, one
Also,
last thing. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Go
go
ahead. You
ahead.
want to say something?
Yeah, I'll just just one last thing which I wanted to say is that we have a lot of online courses on our platform, and what we do is to the webinar attendees we have special discounts which we only unveil at the end, so only the students who have actually stayed with us throughout this 1.5 hours, they get to access this. Pratiksha, can you just send the online courses link to the chat box, on the chat box, so that everybody can make use of that? You are getting 200 rupees off from each of our online certificate courses, which are currently very popular and famous amongst law students because they want to learn how to argue well. They want to learn how to prepare excellent memorials, and also they want to learn about various citation styles like Blue Book or Scholar and whatnot. Right. So we will be opening this coupon code, which is Web 200, only for the next 2 hours. So if you want to make use of it, please go ahead and make use of it right away. Yes, Shivam, you wanted to say something.
Nothing. Just wanted to help them in case they wanted to reach out. They could just reach out on the page of Talim on Instagram, and that's going to be a little easier in case mailing becomes a little hectic. So you can definitely go reach out on the Instagram page of Talim, and I'm always available there. I will definitely reply back, possibly within 3 to 4 hours. Even if I am involved somewhere, you will get the reply within a day. So yeah, you can reach out. The username for the page is, I am typing it here. It's It is Talim underscore 16. So you can reach out here in case you want to ask anything and anything that that you're confused with respect to the session. So I'll be there.
Great. Thank you so much, Shivam. That was a lovely session. I think the participants today have learned so much from your abundant experience and your abundant wisdom. I am sure that they will be in a better place. They will be better debaters tomorrow just because of your help and this webinar today. So, thank you so much. And thanks a lot to all the participants for being so patient with us. Um, yeah, that's about it from my side. If you want to say some parting words, Shivam, you can do that, and then we can end the session.
That is it. That is it, Anant. Thank you so much for having me here. Just I would not take a lot of time because I've already taken a lot of time with respect to this session. I would just want to express my gratitude for, the way you people have, been doing things as an organization now, and the insight, the vision that you have is something that I'm really, really happy about, and I'm really proud of it. So that's there. And one more thing I want to say is, uh, you know, make sure that you carry this on. I know, I mean, there might be times when you just, uh, you know, do not have a lot of time or a lot of mechanism, a lot of volunteers to just go out there and do it. Uh, it might be difficult, but you're doing a great job, okay? And the kids out there are going to love you as an organization. So keep doing that. Keep organizing more of this stuff. Have more people. You definitely would get in touch with all of them, in case they might come out there and help the kids. It's going to be lovely, okay? It's going to be lovely, and I would definitely be looking forward to things like this in the future also. Thank you once again for having me here, and it's always a pleasure to serve anything to debating and to the people who want to go out there and debate.
Thank you so much, Shivam. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I'm closing the session. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice day and stay safe.